come to New Zealand because it's a land of adventure with world-class marine encounters. Tourism here has grown largely on the country's natural assets. I want to see how community, business and industry value this incredible destination. My name's Lynn Sutherland. I'm an adventurer and environmentalist. I partnered with EarthCheck in my quest to uncover the world's best practice in sustainable tourism. My journey took me to exotic locations where people are coming together in a bid to preserve the planet. We need to know the impact tourism has on these incredible destinations and the role each of us must play as responsible travellers. I am in the small town of Kaikoura, which has become world famous because of its amazing marine encounters. But this town also has a very interesting story to tell, and that is how it's turned itself around on the back of nature tourism. From the oceans to the amazing mountains you see behind me, this place has a lot to offer. The community of Kaikoura once relied on whaling and commercial fishing. But in 1986, when whaling was banned globally, a total collapse of these two crucial industries followed. How did this small, isolated coastal village instigate such a dramatic turnaround of fortunes? Perhaps we need to look back into the strong beliefs of Māori mythology. Māori legend tells how Maui, a culture hero known for his exploits and trickery, fished New Zealand up from the sea.
He goes fishing and he pulls up out of the ocean this giant meeting house. So the blue is the water coming off the house. That house, that face, that is Tangaroa, god of the ocean. And he wasn't very happy about his home being pulled up out of the ocean. The canoe he's standing on is the South Island. And according to the story, he was pulling up his fish and his foot slipped. And that slip of the foot created the peninsula.
The gods created the mountains and valleys above water and mirrored these mountains and valleys below.
If you remember, Tani was the god who pushed the heaven and earth apart, and he made human beings. Well, he also brought the plants and the trees down and clothed his mother. The plants and the trees are connected to us, so we look after the trees. That concept is called kaitiakitanga, which means we look after the guardianship, caring, nurturing for our environment.
And now with our culture, when we introduce ourselves, the first thing we do is we always acknowledge our mountain. And our tribal mountain here, it's called Tapawai or Uanuku, which means the sacred footsteps of Uanuku. Uanuku is our god of the rainbow.
By understanding the value of their natural surroundings, Māori people understand their connection to this land. Whales had almost been hunted to extinction in 1986. But the whaling ban saw the return of large whales like sperm whales reappear along New Zealand's coast. That started what has become one of the biggest growth sectors in New Zealand's tourism industry, and today has put Kaikoura on the world whale-watching map. One Māori family, realising the value of this industry, mortgaged their house and started an industry that has forged a path forward for the entire town.
We shall be going out to the whale grounds and hopefully we'll be able to find some sperm whales. That's our main target here.
Well, we've got a sperm whale. We found him. We haven't been out here very long. We've probably been out here about 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the whale zone. And we've seen two sperm whales. This is the second one. The first one, we saw a quick whale tail and it was gone. But this one, you can see he's resting on the surface. He'll sit on the surface for about 10 or 11 minutes and then he'll dive down to get his food, which is generally big squid. And how important are whales for your culture?
Oh, very important. A chief would be likened to a sperm whale, and this would be a sort of a mark of respect if you're ever likened to a parawa, a sperm whale.
So these guys are helping create an economy really here in Kaikoura, haven't they?
Yeah. Especially in the 80s after the railways and things closed down. There wasn't much employment here for the local people. And yeah, some of the family came up with a good idea, and it's really paid dividends.
So how many whales have you got here?
They estimate it's about 230 to 250.
So what have we got, a big deep trench?
Yep, a big deep trench. It's about 13 miles long. So it comes from the southeast and it comes right into the bay over there, Goose Bay. So it's only about a mile off the shore. It's almost 1,000 metres deep.
This deep trench that attracts marine life and wildlife over the next days became my adventure playground. We've arrived at our dolphin boat. She's right here, and this is how you get out to see the dusky dolphins. This trench is a rich feeding ground that attracts many species of pelagic fish, which in turn attract the dusky dolphins. Dusky dolphins are some of the friendliest dolphins I know, and it was time to jump in and have a play.
I'm ready. Dolphins, here we come. I think I've ever had. I've swum with a lot of dolphins, but these have definitely been the most fun, the most interactive, and the most cool. They really, really want to play. But I tell you what, the dolphins try and outswim you. So you try and do all these circles around them, and then they just go faster and faster, and then they go, and they just burn you off. It makes you realise just how agile and fast they are in the water. They are the most amazing creatures you could ever want to see, and they're fun, lots of fun.
They just want to keep playing. They've been with us for hours now and they're still here. Hello, hello. There really isn't too many places in the world you can have this type of interaction with whales and dolphins. Ah! They're just... Yippee! Yippee! Woohoo! While much of the attention here looks out to sea, one of Kaikoura's best-kept secrets lies in its mountains. The Kaikoura Range provides visitors with an easily accessible opportunity to hike into a wilderness area that offers stunning views over the coast. It is the altitude and difficult access that has helped save many parts of our natural world from development and stripping for agriculture. Remote areas like these remind us how beautiful nature is. The next morning, I woke to a misty mood. What an amazing place you have.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
How high up are we here?
We're here, the lodge is at about 3,500 feet at 1,000 metres, and we're now probably another 500 feet above that.
So is this one of Kaikoura's secrets? Not so many people know about the
I say
hills.
that this is one of New Zealand's best kept secrets. I really believe that the mountains are so close to the sea at 8,500 feet within just, it's 12 minutes helicopter flight, and you're just in this amazing dramatic country.
And where are we going?
We are going to go across the stream,
Yep.
valley, and then we'll make our way back down to the lodge. And one of the sort of very special stories about this property is the hut and shearwaters. The hut and shearwaters nest 6,500 feet. There's just the 2 wild colonies in New Zealand, and both those colonies are in Kaikoura.
And how endangered are they?
This season, we just got the numbers. They burrowscope in both the colonies, and so egg to chick, ready to fledge. And this year the survival rate was just under 80%. Last year it was just over 80%. The season before was 4%. And I really believe that the banning of set nets off the Kaikoura coast has made a huge difference.
Set nets for fishing?
Set nets, yeah, that are put out there for fishing, yeah.
So it went from 4% to 80%.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And we've heard stories of fishermen who've pulled up set nets that have just been chock-a-block full of hut and shearwaters. So the set net ban was put in place for hector's dolphins, but I think the spin-off has been for us with these birds. It's just going to make such a difference.
Raising the value of Kaikoura attracted a new breed of residents who were allies to a greener, cleaner future. But even this growth needs to be carefully managed. Kaikoura's rugged coastline serves as an important nesting ground for many seabirds, like the shearwaters and the giant albatross. But fishing once resulted in mass deaths as birds became caught in fishing nets. But since the use of set nets was banned, albatross and shearwater populations are coming back. And today, the chance to see these incredible southern species is proving to be an attraction in itself.
We're only about a mile offshore, and they've already put the food in the water to attract the albatross. Now, we haven't quite got albatross. We've got another species of bird, which is the Cape petrel, and they're absolutely everywhere. These guys obviously know what's going on. Isn't he fantastic? He's just landed, this big albatross. Look at the size of his wings. So this is part of the encounters that you can do, and this is the albatross encounter. Why do we get the albatross here? Is this great feeding grounds for them?
Yeah, it is. We have a deep water trench system here, and the upwellings bring a lot of nutrients to the surface, and which stimulate the plankton and start a food chain.
So how big do these guys' wingspan get?
The record is 3.6 metres. They only breed every second year, and then they have a lot of time. They have a whole year off. Some of them will circumnavigate Antarctica.
Right there, the biggest wingspan in the world, but it's quite sad because like so many other species around the world, these albatross are declining at over 10% a year. With only about 12,000 of these birds left, then it doesn't take too many sums to do that. We don't have that many years left unless we sort of look at our techniques and look at our fishing practices. Long lining's probably the main cause of these birds' decline, so I think it's about time that we really, really looked at what we were doing. But how special to be able to come out here this close to shore and see these beautiful birds.
It seems here people really care, and the good news is the whole town is becoming responsible. Kaikoura District Council has put in place a sustainable development plan that means Kaikoura is now the world's first EarthCheck certified sustainable community. Principles of sustainable living are carried through to every business, home and service. This requires radical change to happen, but people here seem to not only embrace this philosophy, but relish in it. Reusing and recycling all inorganic waste in the town has reduced the landfill by 75% and indirectly gave birth to a new fashion.
Hi, Lynn.
Hey, Julie. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I'm glad to see you in Kaikoura.
Oh, thank you.
It's great.
It's an interesting place, but this looks very interesting too.
What
is it?
It is called the Recycle Trash Fashion Show, and we've done it since 1999. And it's to make awareness of recycling and having less landfill.
So this is allowing you to get rid of something
Yeah,
junk, but turn it into something incredible.
That's right, and we want to have a exhibition that is going to be complete in town constantly. We've actually raised over 100,000 over the 10 years to give back to the community to buy defibrillators. St John's, Fire Brigade, Hospital, Westpac got money for their helicopter.
I noticed that about Kaikoura here. It sort of has that attitude, doesn't it, that it's a community. It's not individuals, it's a community.
It is. And the community love this. They call it one of their icons now because when's the next show?
What Kaikoura has discovered was that a corporate ecosystem existed that could be leveraged to protect the natural one. If a community can pull together, it was time to find out what corporations and big players in the tourism industry are doing. Airlines are increasingly being thought of as the big polluters, but they play a vital role in bringing us to locations. Takeoff and landings are the most energy-intensive times of a flight, but when a jet touches down at Auckland Airport, it is immediately brought in and connected to ground power, so they don't have to run off their auxiliary jets. This saves massive amounts of fuel, and one of the initiatives being introduced.
Now, I have just arrived at Auckland Airport, and I'm going to take a look behind the scenes here and see what this airport is doing to lead us toward a sustainable future. So Martin, it's interesting talking about sustainability with an airport, but what are some of the things you can do to help make an airport sustainable?
Well, we can actually look at it right at the planning stage. We're kind of in a unique location here because we are effectively a greenfield site. So right at the early design stages, we can build in elements of sustainable design. So when we're looking at creating new infrastructure, we can put in the energy efficiency technology. We can put in the rainwater recovery. We can look at things like groundwater recycling. We can link the buildings actually into the landscape and protect stormwater, because you can see we have a pretty unique location right on the Manukau Harbour here.
So Martin, what are we looking at here?
These are our solar water heaters. So we're taking the energy from the sun and using it to heat water, which is used in the washrooms in the terminal. And another interesting project that we've completed is we've put low-flow shower heads in all the showers throughout the terminal. So for a cost of about $4,000 to the company, we're actually saving $140,000 a year in saved energy and water costs. And if you look out this way, we've got an opportunity here. We're developing an airport business district. So we're now talking about, well, what is that going to look like in the future? And you probably noticed that the travelator didn't actually start operating until we were virtually onto it. So when it's not needed, it's not operating, so we're saving energy by having these sensors in place. And as you can see down the right-hand side, we've got lights illuminating that wonderful imagery, but the two banks closest to the window are actually fitted to a light sensor. So when the daylight increases outside and there's sufficient in the terminal, the banks of light switch off, so we reduce energy.
It was refreshing to know that problems are being addressed. Is this the start of a new corporate world that becomes aware of their impact and works in a responsible way? My next stop was the 5-star Langham Hotel in Auckland, who has been recognised for its leadership efforts by the Ministry of Environment. The Langham are committed to reducing their environmental impact and rely on EarthCheck to help guide them through. Off to a good start. This hybrid Lexus sent to pick me up from the airport by the Langham Hotel is 40% more fuel efficient, but with all the style and class to make for a luxurious entrance. So Jeffrey, we've got an amazing 5-star hotel that we've arrived at here, and it looks like any other 5-star hotel with all the mods and cons. But what makes the Langham so unique?
The inspiration comes from many places. One, as a company, the Langham Hotel Group is committed to sustainability, and our chairman, Dr. Lowe, really challenged all of the MDs in the hotels to introduce green initiatives and really to focus on sustainability. Last year we completed a significant refurbishment of our main ballroom. We took the existing chandeliers, we had 38 chandeliers I think it was, with about 30 light bulbs in each of those chandeliers, actually modified them and recycled the crystals into brand new chandeliers, significantly decreased the number of bulbs in them, and we actually ended up by reducing our kilowatts per hour by 61%. Hotels have quite significant food waste, as you can imagine, and we've actually been part of a pilot program to actually take that and for that to be recycled into compost.
So do you think it's very important for corporations to get behind the initiatives for the environment and sustainability?
I think these days it's critical, not important, it's absolutely critical. We all have a part to play, and I think big corporations really need to lead that. We also have introduced an interesting wetterarium, and a wetter is an indigenous insect to New Zealand, and allows our guests to actually start to understand a little bit about very basic recycling. Wetters recycle plant matter.
So do you think the wetter's a little bit misunderstood as a critter?
Oh, look, definitely. This would be the most feared creature by any Kiwi, okay? It's like, this is a thing of dreams. But in actual fact, they're quite harmless. They've got this thing poking out the back here that everyone thinks is a sting. It's not, it's just a big spike that opens in half and allows her to lay eggs in the ground. At the other end is a big pair of jaws, and if you grab her at the wrong time and she's threatened, she'll give you a good nip. And when she's upset, she'll let you know, because those legs will raise right up over her head, poking forward like her antennae, and then she'll whip them back, suddenly making a hissing noise, which sounds pretty scary. And if you stick your finger in there, she's liable to jab you with those spines too. And they're a little prickly.
Staring at my newfound friend, the wetter, I shared my passion for all creatures, great and small, no matter what they look like. I reflected back to when I was in Kaikoura and found my own way of making my travels a little greener. Well, I'm here with Kevin, and we're going to do a bit of tree planting, because this is what travellers can do to give back to the environment. Now, what sort of tree am I planting, Kevin?
This is a native Kaikoura tree. It's called a 5-finger. We've had 4,000 tourists already buy a tree just like this one and plant it for us. So, you know, what we're doing is helping to put the New Zealand countryside back to how it was 1,000 years ago, before man started messing with it and stripped all the trees out. We've got to think about two or three things for the tree. One is the position has got to have sufficient light. Yeah, it can't be too shaded by other things. We've got to think about the weeds that are around the tree, so we always leave a bit of a gap around the planting area, and just to give the tree a start without the weeds. And then, of course, water is essential.
So how long will this take to get big?
Well, it'll be fully grown in about 50 years' time, and it'll live hundreds of years. And then we put the tree in the ground, keep it upright, and then we put the dirt goes around the tree, obviously.
Get our hands dirty. Well, I think this is really special. To be able to come here as a traveller and do something positive for the environment is a great thing to do. So I'm going to say goodbye to Simba. I'm going to fill up a little bit more soil, and then I'm going to leave my tree in peace so it grows to be a big 5-leaf tree. We have to start realising what is important in our world. Fresh air, water, and a clean environment to grow healthy food is the key. Everything else is a luxury. Life as we know it only exists because of the ecosystems that work together. Whether you are playing a role in the community or supplying a service in our global industry, the need to understand you are still part of this ecosystem is vital. Taking responsibility for our impacts is the only way we can hope to bring about a sustainable future and appreciate all the wonderful things our world has to offer. Well, we've had one of the most amazing days you could possibly have with dolphins. We've been swimming with dozens of them in the water, and now we've got hundreds of them around us on the boat. Kaikoura is a very special place. Not only can you see marine mammals, but you can see the beautiful albatross and the seabirds. And these guys, sometimes they just want to have fun, and that's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what we've done here as well. Kaikoura is an amazing